All right, here we are with another week of Commander and another week of Hope of Kirapor. Today's deck we're going to be talking about Hog Mollies. Last week was Mud Hog. This week is Hog Mollies. So enjoy. And you know the Commander, Hog, Hope. Everybody loves her. No, everybody does not. Everybody wants me to continue to change commanders, but that's not going to happen. We're going to start off with the mana rocks. Pretty much, everything I feel that's very important to go for in commander. So Worn Power Stone, not one of my favorites because it comes into play tap, but Blink Moth Urn, quite possibly my favorite. Works really well. Palladium Myrrh. It's my other mana rock. I like this one too. Mind Stone gives you card draw. That's always nice. Dreamstone Hedron also gives you card draw. Plague Myrrh, it gives you Infect, which helps out. Hedron Archive with the card draw, of course. Thran Dynamo, that's, staple. Soul Ring, staple, of course. Empowered Auto Generator. I have started to fall in love with this one. It's just an awesome card for cheap, and it's late game. You're just all like, okay, I got too much mana. You just don't have anything to do with it anymore after a while, but it's fun. Sisei's Ring. This has been a good acquisition. I'm really enjoying it. Comes into play. Comes in handy. Everflowing Chalice. I'll sometimes just use this strictly for the sack ability. I mean, we'll get to that here in a second. I'll talk to you about this deck after we get through the staples. Metal Worker, of course, it's a artifact deck. Basalt Monolith, not one of my favorites, but I'm not going to pay for another Mana Vault anytime soon, so this will have to do for now. But yeah. All right, now here we go into the actual meat of the deck. This is quite possibly the only card in the deck that, the synergy works really well with everything else, but it's the only card in the deck that pretty much does this ability, copy ability of a quick creature, which comes in really handy, which you'll find out here very soon. Blightsteel Colossus. This is in here mainly for, early win condition. Just a couple nights ago, I was able to get this out on turn 3 or 4 with the assistance of Thran Temporal Gateway and Soul Ring. So, yeah. Nim Deathmantle. This is quite possibly the meat of, of the combo in here that's going on, because you're going to be sacking a lot of creatures and you're going to be bringing them right back to the battlefield just to get these tokens from the ETBs and stuff like that. So yeah, it gets kind of wild. Sure Strike Trident. This is in here for the ability to put deal direct damage, your creature's damage to a player. Now let's say, Hope just so happened is now 21-21, for example, and this person has blockers out there, numerous blockers. And, well, hey, why not? Slap this on Hope and you just took 21 commander damage. So, or Infect if you want to actually put it on Blightsteel Colossus. It still does its creature's damage, which is Infect damage. That'd be game. Copper Gnomes. This is the drop from hand. We're getting into the what I call the search process. Dropping things from hand, going into the library to find them and everything like that helps out really fast. It makes the deck really fast. Copper Gnomes, of course, is going to be in there. Thran Temporal Gateway, just talked about that earlier. 4 drop, 4 and tap, put a stored card from your hand onto the battlefield. Kind of cheap. But yeah, Quicksilver Amulet is pretty much the same thing, but just for creatures. Still use it because, hey, that's what it's in here for, you know, for the creature drops. Lifeline. So for when you do sack those creatures, you go and fetch them from the library or from the graveyard. Bring them back into play as long as you have another creature out on the play, you know. So it's a free, it's a free regen. Scarecrow. I love this because it's the creature that is going to get the other creatures, and I can make copies of it and do all types of nice little nifty things with Scarecrow. It comes in really handy, and I think it's the only Scarecrow in the deck, so I'm not even using the draw card ability. It is strictly for the return target artifact creature card from graveyard to play. That is it. Kudatha Forge Master. Now, when you start getting all those tokens out there and everything, and you're just sacking them to this to get whatever you want to make it, I mean, after a while, it's kind of repetitive. Planner Bridge, search engine to go fetch what you need. I mean, you know, with that, you can go and get the Kudatha. Meteor Golem. The object of putting this in here was solely to just keep on bouncing it back and bouncing it back and bouncing it back, and just, you know, unlimited pretty much. Well, not unlimited, but you know, a limited, you know, permanent destruction. This is a new addition also, Karn, Sign of Urza, mainly for the ultimate ability to create the 0 constructs that get +1/+1 counters for each artifact you control. Like, it's gonna work well. It's gonna work well. You know, I mean, and yeah, you know, put the top 2 cards in the library, put them trying to choose one, and all that other type of stuff. That's all cool and everything in a way, but I'm really not going to be using those abilities unless it was a, you know, something special. I got the lame Ugin, of course, but in this deck it works well because if you exile the top card of your library and then sacrifice that exiled creature, send it into the graveyard, and then bring that card back to your hand, I mean, it's 2 for 1. And then destroy it, you know, permanently. That's one of my colors. That helps out a lot. And then, I mean, this is a good card for this deck. It works out really well. So we'll just find out. I haven't ran it with it in here yet, but when I do, I'll give updates. Flayer Husk. You're going to see pretty much every living weapon in here, and it is only for one reason, because when it comes out on the field, you put a 0/0 black germ creature token onto the battlefield. I'm sacking that creature pretty much off jump, you know, or attacking with this creature, whatever, you know, depending on what the situation is. But all these living weapons, they work wonderful, you know. I can either attach to Hope, or I can just use it as a weapon, you know, or I'm going to, I mean, so many options with these. Necropede. Sack, this is just a sack creature pretty much, you know. Sack it, put it in the graveyard. Put -1/-1 counter on target creature, and doing proliferate and all types of other nifty things in here too. Core Prowler, when it's put into the graveyard, proliferate, you know. Thopter Squadron. Here we're getting into the token generators. And the reason why I chose the tokens was because who cares if you sacrifice the tokens to, you know, to get this Thopter Squadron back to bring out more tokens and so on and so forth. So, Mishra's Self-Replicator, only because, hey, it's putting out a token of itself. Tokens. Helm of the Host. This is in here because it's Helm of the Host, and you're just gonna make copies of creatures and sack as many as you can and do all the other things that you can. And you're probably wondering, well, why are you making all these tokens? Why are you just gonna sack them? You'll see. You know, Ancient Stone Idol, making more tokens. Thopter Assembly, make more tokens. Batter Skull, it's a living weapon, told you about that. Prototype Portal. Now we're getting into the copying of things to make tokens, make additional tokens of them, which I love, because if you copy something that makes tokens, on ETB, then so mortar pod, living weapon, sickle slicer, living weapon, skin wing, living weapon, Myr Battlesphere. Now, this one was a recent acquisition also, and I didn't know about this card because I just constructed this deck within the last week really, and this is the one I was telling you about, just entering the battlefield, putting 4 Myr out there. You keep on bouncing this, and it's just going to be ridiculous how many Myr you have out there for one, and then yeah, I mean, and then you'll see what else is in here that plays really well with that. Hangerback Walker, of course, for the Thopters, you're going to sacrifice it. I mean, I'm more than likely only going to sacrifice it once, depending on what I have on the field, see if we can come in with a +1/+1 counter on it, and then keep on, doing that. But if not, then, it's a 1 sacrifice, get as many of them out there as possible. Hopefully, with that, I could equip Illusionist Bracers or something, and that'd be nice. Cogwork Assembler, create a token that's a copy of target artifact. Helps out. Triskelevis, I love saying that. I love this card because it is actually a 1/1, but it gets counters. So therefore, you really have to kill it when I take, after taking off all the counters. So helps out really, really well. Got Bob's Burgers for my background music. Hope y'all don't mind. Mirrorworks, token generator again. Yeah, it's kind of repetitive, with a couple of things, but it is purpose, Mimic Vat, token generator. I've used this on Hope, just to bring out more Hope so people can't play turns. Can't play non-creature spells on their next turns until my next turn, so, and I've done that a couple turns in a row, especially with Mimic Vat. It gives a creature haste, ouch. So, Sith Claw, another living weapon, love it. Pentavis is very fun because it makes Pentavate. Token generator. Myr Turban, another token generator. This one really, really nice. Grinding Station. Now we're getting into the sacrificial part of this deck. The reason why you're making all these tokens and stuff like that and all these creatures. We got Grinding Station. Because this, my style, I love to mill. So here we go. We're using creatures, token creatures to sacrifice to do mill. There's Grinding Station. We're also using those creatures to gain mana. Ashnod's Altar. We are also using those creatures to pump up Arcbound Ravager so we can put +1/+1 counters on pretty much any other creature we want to make even more counters and more tokens and stuff like that later on down the line. So Arcbound Ravager. Now we're getting into the token assistance. Right now, I'm still looking at things, but these are the ones that I have picked out for now. How about that? And these are probably the best ones. Of course, Chroma's Memorial. All those tokens that are coming out there, we're going to need as much help as possible to stay alive and stuff like that. There's a lot of people out there, all creatures get -1/-1. Well, can't have that. Or all creatures without flying, or whatever the case is, That's why there's the Immortal Sun, give creatures +1/+1. That's mainly the only reason why the Immortal Sun is in this deck, is because all creatures I control get +1/+1. Eldrazi Monument, creatures I control get +1/+1, flying and are indestructible. It's just strictly there to help out the creatures. I mean, if I don't get it, then I don't get it, but if I do, then that's bad for you. Coat of Arms, this was my win condition the other night. I had something like 27 Thopter tokens out. I had something like 27 Thopter tokens out, and Coat of Arms dropped, so now they're all 26 plus 26 Thopters, you know. So I cleared the board that night, and I actually got the table prize, which was just 3 cards out of a promo pack. Getting more into the creature sacrificial. This is going towards mill again. Altar of Dementia, sacrifice creature. I mean, and that plays off of everything that's right there. The Coat of Arms. I mean, you know, you say you got 20 or 10, however many, you know, Thopters. Now they're 2/2 Thopters, and because of that, you got a mill 40 cards. Ouch, that would suck. Nobody wants that. Or you can just attack with them because they are Thopters. They are in the air. Altar of the Brood, wonderful early turn drop, because this works out really well with all the tokens that you're putting out on the field too, because it's another permanent that's entering the battlefield under your control. You're just putting it out there from another source, but it's still entering the battlefield under your control. So people can mill a lot. This is a new addition, Screaming Shield, mill, of course. One of my least favorite cards, but it is a mill card, and yeah, you know how I do. That's what I do. And that'll do it for the meat of this. Now for the potatoes, or it does it for the potatoes, and now for the meat. I don't know how that really goes. But here are the lands. You know, I love my terrain generator. I see that as a mana rock. Of course, all the Urzes. I mean, that's just staple. Field of the Dead, of course, because tokens. Karn's Bastion, because of Proliferate, because tokens. Inkmoth Nexus, because, well, Inkmoth Nexus. Ruins of Oran Reef, and that is mainly because the +1/+1 counter on target colors creature that entered the turn in the battlefield this turn. That'll help out with a couple things, just Triskelivis, Pentavis, and stuff like that. You can bite Steel Colossus, it doesn't really matter. Make them 12/12. Urza's Factory, token generator. Springjack Pasture, token generator. Onder's Enclave, card draw for big creatures. Mirror Pool, the token generator. I mean, it's making a copy. So, I mean, love it. Darksteel Citadel, of course. Mishra's Factory, token generator. Thespian Stage, one of my favorite lands of all times, because you get to copy another land. You get to copy a token generator. Why not? Rogue's Passage, make your creatures unblockable, or a creature at a time unblockable. Foundry of the Consoles, token generator. Crystal Vein, that comes in handy, you know, being able to sack it for 2. That saved me a couple times, so I really like that a lot. Gargoyle Castle, token generator. Dread Statuary, it's not a token, but it does create an artifact golem. Helps out, you know, it's a land. And Westvale Abbey, love this card. Got mad at the player that won the other night at the group table that we're playing at. He got mad at me when I pulled this out because he had no answer for it. He said it was already out on the table, and it's a land. For those of those who don't know what it turns into, let me show you real fast. I like to sleeve my cards a little weirder than other people. I don't like to touch my artwork, so I do it from the bottom up. But Westvale Abbey is that, and then it flips over to Ormondal Profane Prince. And, you know, I mean, it's just a land that turns into a creature, but it is also a token land, as you can see right there. But it's 5 tap, pay 1 life to put a 1/1 white black in. You're not doing that. I'm just doing the sack 5 creatures to transform it. So, but anyways, that is it for the deck. And then, of course, you know, the rest of these are Wastagas, my wastes. I'm only running like 38 lands in this deck or something like that, but it works out really well. Oh yeah, the washer dryer came in today. But yeah, it's a lovely summer night here in Colorado. You can't see outside, but it's all right. So y'all have a good night and enjoy. And please post comments on this deck and give any constructive criticism that you can give. Any help, any positive or negative feedback. I don't care. Whatever. Kill baby seals if I want to. But anyways, have a good night. Thank you for watching and enjoy. My feet.